Now only we deal to reading the information from keyboard or putting the information inside our file, Java file, and executing that one. Now we're looking another scenario. If there is a file already open, or I would like to read the information that I want not from the keyboard but from a file which exists in my computer, how we gonna deal with that one? So we can say two form exist. One, read the information on my program and save it to a file so I can go and read that file separately, or read my information from a file and bring it up to my program. Those information, they could be in the form of binary like an image, or it could be like a text file. We concentrate on the text file, not binary. Okay, the first thing that we're going to do, we importing Java utility scanner as we did before to read information. Second, so we can put your file name on the screen and you're going to save the file to a file inside our program. The second, we importing Java input output. Java input output, we importing that utility file, the library file, so we can read and write the file. The third option that we try to build up or skeleton, Java skeleton, we having one more thing extra, and that one we gonna say true IO exception, because we dealing with the file system and we try to write a file to the operating system outside of Java programming. So we have to consider that maybe an error raised, maybe something going wrong. So it is required that in our skeleton we putting the through IO exception. The next step we call the class file writer, and create one object for file writer for us. So we're going to say this is a file writer, this is a class, this is the identifier or file writer that we try, the component that we try to create, like identifier equal new file writer file name. This file name is a variable that we gonna put as our file name. And when we create this one, the next step we're going to use it right here, and we're going to say print write. It means write to an output file my information that I provide you right here. This is the next step, and the final step we're going to close the file. Now let's go ahead and look at the program for this format. So as I said, one, importing the Java utility for library. Second, we do the a little bit change through our main method, and we use through IO exception. And the third one, we use a file writer and a print writer class to create two instances, one for file writer, one to open an output file, to write the content of file, to write the content of our program to a file. Let's go look at this program on our screen. So I having the same program right here. So you're going to see that the IO exception file writer, we name it the file name, and right here we file name my text, the information that I would like to write, and the information that I would like to write to text, whatever I'm going typing to the keyboard, you're going to write put to a variable, and that variable then we're going to put him in a file name. And when we going to put him in a file name, we're asking right here to create a instance of object file write for me, and right here we're asking write the content of this file writer pointer at this location to output file. And finally we're going to close our file and output file, we're going to close that one. Let's go ahead, run it, and look at see the behavior of this one. And I know it is a little bit too many things we have to learning in simultaneously. Let's look at the behavior of this program. As you're going to see, the first one, write me to a file. So the program come to this line and said write me to a file. right here, write me to a file. That's what you're going to see right here, write me to a file. Then I'm going to put some string. This is a test for file, and I'm gonna just, this is statement. And the next step, as soon I press the keyboard enter, keyboard next line I press enter, is supposed to enter the file name, ask me to enter a file name. So let's consider I'm going to press right here the enter, and it asks me display this one and enter the file name. I'm going to say my file, whatever name I want. I'm going to put myfile.txt. Let's put it, I name it myfile.txt, and I press enter. It write the content to a file. Let's go look at the file and see what it wrote. First, it gonna write to the location that it read the Java file. In advance, when we learning in advanced Java, we gonna see that also we can give us a pop-up window and we specify where to save my file. But right here, you gonna write it to this directory right here, chapter 4 code Java, wherever my code located at. Currently my code located right here. It is my file right here. It put it my file right here in. Here is the same location that you're going to see right here. It is in this E drive and going always to chapter 4 code, and it is E drive right here to chapter code. As you going to see this directory matching with this address, matching with this address. And right here I have a file, and that file is my file. This my file, the content of my file is the my file information that I wrote. This is a test for file. As you see in this demo, again the first one that we enter in the file name from the keyboard, it gonna save to a variable file name. Then this file name right here, as a put him right here in the file writer class, and it's going to generate an instance of the object instance of the file writer, and this file writer we use it to write the file to a disk. To write to the file to the disk, we using the print writer class to create an instance of the output, and taking this pointer, which is the student text data, whatever the file name, and writing the content to the file. So there is really three new component, as I said right here, three new component we need. One right here, we need to use the Java IO, importing the library file. Then we have to use through the exception, and then this two file writer and print write. This is the three component we need for writing a file to a disk. Consider another scenario. Currently I have a file to it on the disk, but I would like to attach some more content to the end of the file. So we call that one appending text to an existing file. If you remember in the previous example that we did, only we said new file writer file name. That's the only thing we did. But right here we put a true. This true, it means that the file currently exists. And here is the format structure that when we go and try to write that one. Writing the file. Okay, the only thing that we do it is slightly different. We're going to say my file is true. It means when you try to read the content that they are in my text, right here you open it up, consider that the file currently exists and the file name is myfile.txt. Again, be careful that the myfile.txt is case sensitive. You should have the same format on your disk. You should have a file with the myfile.txt in your disk when you try to open it for write. When you Java try to open it for write. Here in this demo, I show it to you that let's say if I'll be able to move it to center so you can see it. So you're gonna see that right here you're entering, this is a new line, and when you open operation complete, you're gonna open my file and you're gonna write a new line next to the existing line of the same file. And here is the code. When we're running a Java program in a window application, window always has some issue with the backslash. If we would like to say put the information to the A drive, and this is my file name slash my file name, a single slash, the Java consider that one as a special character. If you remember, we had a special character /n or /t. You're going to consider that one as a special character. To say no, this is not a special character, keep it as is. So we're going to put another extra slash next to that one. So we're going to say go to the A drive and put that one practice file for me in this file. So this is what your book calling that one window crazy backslash. If we plan to write to a proper directory by using a slash, we may using the forward slash, but when we're creating that new file writer, we have to specify where that one's supposed to be located. This one could be at the A drive. We could have it right here, for example, my file, go ahead writing to A drive, A:/ and my file name. The next concept, right up to now, we learn how to write to a file or append the information to a file. The next step is how we're reading the file from a data and bringing inside the program. We're going to use two more class, one of them file reader and one that we're going to use for that purpose. Here is the example again. Up to right here, Java IO we used before, and IO exception we use that one. Scanner keyboard that we reading from the keyboard, same as before. The only thing that new we gonna find out is gonna be right here. The third step, in a set of the file writer, we're going to use the file reader object, file reader class, to create an instance of the file reader. This is whatever you name it. This is look like identifier. This is object, and you would like to name it to any name that you want. But what we're going to notice right here, we're going to new file writer, read the content of the file name that I enter it right here, and generate me for a file pointer so I can read from that file, and that file reader assigned to the buffer reader input, and we read in the whole content of the buffer and bring it back right here. And we reading that one, put him right here, and we're going to say assign file. Then right here we're going to say okay, input file read line. So this example only read one line from the file, not more than one line. If we want multiple line, we have to put him in a loop to read in multiple line. Let's go run this example too. Let's consider we would like to read this file, my file. Let me go open this file, and this is another one. This is the second line, and let's go ahead and add one more line right on the top. This is the 0 line, and I'm going to save this one file, save as, to a file, name it myfile.txt. Save this file and then go back right here and try to read it inside of my program. So I'm going to say my file name is paste. Let's see, do I have it right here? No, it is wrong. My file, it's myfile.txt, and press enter, and you're gonna read. Here is the content of the file. This is 0 line. You're gonna see right here, this is 0 line. This 0 line is the same that we put him right here, and we said that read the first line. As I told you, you're going to read the first line, and this is the first line, this is a 0 line, and this is a 0 line. So when I try to write to a file, to write the content inside my program to a file, I'm going to use two classes. One of them is file writer and the other one is print writer. This is the two. When I try to read a file which is currently exists on the file system and I try to read it, I'm going to use the read file reader class and buffer reader class when I try to read the content of the file. So for write I'm going to use this portion. For read I'm going to use these two classes. Now question is, if I want to read multiple lines from a file, I'm going to get to this difficulty that if I put it on a loop and asking read next line, next line, next line, how I'm going to detect the end of the line right here, how I'm going to detect where is my end of file. And detecting the end of file, it should be through this process. I'm going to say read line method. I'm going to use the read line method, and read line method, as long it going to bring some content and it is not null, it going to read the line. And when it going to get to a position that the last content on a file it is null, as you remember in chapter 2 I said when we go end of the file, this area is non-visible, which we call is pointed to a null. It means end of the file. See, when I cannot go farther to a line, this is we call it end of the line. So it means if I go to blank line, it gonna read to blank line, but the end of the file is pointed right here. So what you gonna do, we can use the while when you file reader, you're reading the content a line and put them in the string, and then you get to a position that the string is no longer a string, no content to the string, and that's null. That's we call it end of the file. And this is the way that we can detect the end of the file. Let's consider that we would like to read this 3 line. Let's see how we're going to change the code to see this effect. What I did, I right here I create a string and I'm going to say read line for the first time. I'm putting in this str. Now check this str if it is null and if the file contains data. So it is not null. So display that line, read the line next time and put in the string and loop this one as long this string is not null. And you're going to see the output when I read it my file txt, which is this file right here. You're going to read the first 3 lines and terminate at the end of it. When there is no more, exit the loop and terminate my file.